girls. Happy Cinco de Mayo. I am coming to you live from our jewelry room at Trish and Virginia Beach, and today we are going to be talking with Rene Escobar, and he's in Miami, so this is going to be all about the South, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're probably going to drink as much as possible in this short period of time and talk about all things jewelry today. So we're going to have some fun. I'm not wearing a mask today, but should you happen to come in store and wish to find something for Mother's Day, we are selling some masks from Aquarius Cocktail, which is AQC, and we will be having some masks also coming in from Italy next week. So they're all pretty gorgeous, and that will be something fun for you. But Mother's Day is a time where every single woman out there wants a piece of jewelry. And if you've been watching today, you would have seen that really fabulous emerald ring that we posted that some woman may get. We're not giving it away. Some fabulous man should come and buy it for their wife. So we're going to invite Rene on right now and have him join us. And let's do that. You got that, Rhea?
Yeah, tell him to send the request. We're just waiting for his request.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Rene, I don't know where you are, but hopefully you see us live and you can send us, thank you, send us a request that you'd like to come talk to us. Thanks. That's really amazing, Rhea. Oh, happy day. Am I supposed to really drink this? I'll wait till he joins me before we start. And we are live without Rene, but he'll be here. So let's just hang out and talk. How's it going today? Y'all can keep saying hi. And oh, by the way, at the end of this, you can be posting comments all the way through. Tell me that you're here. I can't see that far, but the girls will let me know that if you have any questions that you want to ask Rene, pretty much anything, or if you want to ask me something, please do. You will also, hang on. What happened here? Did we lose everybody?
I just sent him a request and he didn't. I don't think he decided to send mine.
I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought, Rhea. So here he is. Hi, sweetie.
Hi, Trish.
Cheers.
How are you? How are you?
Happy Cinco
Hi,
de Mayo.
everyone. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
I'm so excited.
So nice to see you.
Thank
Salud.
you. Is that hard to figure out?
Salud, salud, salud.
That is the way to say it. I'm going to have a little water along with this. How's it going down in Miami?
Well, good, actually. We have beautiful weather. Yeah, we've had, it's very quiet. I live in a very quiet neighborhood, so, which is good. I have a little house and a yard. So, you know, we've been home now for about 2 months, over 2 months. But I have to be honest, we haven't really had a chance to get really bored. We've been doing a lot of things around the house, you know, organizing, doing a lot of gardening, sleeping in late.
Love it. So you haven't been in the studio? I know you have.
No, my studio is in a 100-year-old building in downtown Miami that is called the Siebel Building. So, and it's a historic building. It has always been a jewelry building. It's a 10-story building, Art Deco, and it's always had jewelers in it. It was always meant to house jewelers and jewelry designers and jewelry manufacturers. And unfortunately, it closed about 2 months ago. They told us to go home, and they haven't opened yet. Hopefully, we'll be able to be in the studio next week.
I
to
hope
go
you will
in,
too, because everyone's going to want something new, aren't they?
yeah, I hope so. That's the idea. So yeah, but you know, everything's good. Everyone is fine in my family and my friends. So you know, it's all good. We're very grateful. How are you doing up there?
I'm going to ask you a quick question. You know,
Yeah.
so tell me about your family, and I know that you're a third generation craftsman, and I know everyone would love to hear a little bit about your, you know, who you are and all of those.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, of course. I always love to talk about about jewelry, actually. That's my favorite thing to talk about. And I always love to talk about, particularly about my father. My father was a master goldsmith. And his father was also, that's how I'm a third generation jeweler, of course. So my grandfather and my father were both jewelers, but My father started working when he was actually 7 years old. His mother passed away when he was a little boy, and my grandfather actually said to him, "Well, now you are not good." This is a terrible story, but I'm from Nicaragua. That's where I'm from. And
Yes.
my father said, "You are going to become a jeweler, and you're going to start learning the craft as early." And my father started learning as early as 7 years old. So when my dad was 15 years old, he was already a goldsmith. And so then he became a master jeweler in Nicaragua. And then of course when I was a teenager, I would come home from school, and the workshop was in the back of the house. We had a big long Spanish house. So the back of the house was the workshop where my dad worked and some of his employees, and the front of the house was the store, and we lived in the middle of the house. So the store was the front of the house, which was in a very commercial area of the city where I'm from. And then we lived in the middle of the house, the kitchen and the bedrooms. And then in the back of the house was the workshop. So I would get home from school, drop off my school bag, and go directly to the workshop where I would tinker around. And my dad used to allow me to use his tools when he was not working, to make jewelry. So I actually learned to make jewelry when I was about 9 years old. So when I moved to the States, I was about 16. My first job as a jeweler was in a very fine jewelry store in South Florida, and I lied about my age because at the time you had to be at least 18 to be able to work, and I was 16. And I got at the interview, I lied and I got the job. So
I love your story.
my first official job here in the States was when I was 16 years old. I was working already as a jeweler. And then I worked for a couple of other stores after that. And I opened my own company when I was about 22 years old. And by the way, tomorrow is my birthday.
Happy birthday, Rene. That's
so.
You
So
will
yeah,
celebrate as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course, I'm home, but we'll make the best of it. So yeah, so I've been here in Florida for now about 30 years, 35 years rather, and out of those 35 years, I've been working on my own in my own company for about 30, and I was a private jeweler for about 20 years, and I was very fortunate to have amazing clients, fine jewelry collectors here in South Florida that kept me very busy. So for many, many years, I made beautiful one-of-a-kind pieces for my clients who were jewelry collectors. And that's more or less where my inspiration comes from when I create
That's going to be
pieces.
my question. Where does that inspiration come from?
It comes from, I always have this kind of, I want to, every piece that I make, I try to make it, well, everything is handmade, by the way, and everything is made in my studio in Miami by myself and my staff. So whenever we make a piece, we always try to infuse it. We always try to make it so that it does look like it's a one of a kind, even if it's a series of many pieces, because we like to have that element of like a one of a kind handmade piece, because that's my background. That's what I created for so many years. So I try to bring that into the pieces that I make, like that beautiful emerald ring that you have, and a lot of the other bigger pieces. In fact, as you know, because this was something that happened in your case, you bought some gorgeous rings, and then some of your clients really loved them, and they asked you if we could get more, and then we couldn't. So a lot of my
I want
pieces
every one of them, but they seem to want the ones that I want.
Yeah, so that's more or less my story. Of course, there's a lot more to it, but yeah, and the inspiration actually My inspiration does not come from like the ocean or the moons or the flowers or gardens or the stars or no. My inspiration comes from my experience with my clients. So my inspiration is directly and specifically with women. Even though, as you know, my collections are very strong and they're bold and they are, they're not dainty. There is an element of, there are delicate elements like, the little stone, the little diamond sets in the pieces, but they're very strong. So some people say that they have a kind of a masculine feel to them, but my inspiration comes from very strong women because most of my clients when I was a private jeweler were very strong, independent women who didn't have to ask anyone permission to wear anything. So, of course, they were very confident. So my jewelry takes a very confident, I hate to say this, but it takes a very confident individual. And
Yes,
someone
our
who is not,
clients are those women. They're very confident, and they do like bigger and bolder. But there is a very elegant beauty about your work that's not overpowering. It's just gorgeous.
like I said, from making jewelry for private clients, of course, I had to create all different styles because everyone has different tastes. So what I try to achieve in my collections that I make now is I try to combine different elements, as you know, different colors of gold, rose gold, yellow gold, silver, of course, is very predominant. I love silver. Uh, Basically because silver is very easy to wear and it's just something that just ages so well, but also finishes. All my pieces, as you know, they have that texture, some type of texture. And a lot of my pieces have at least two or three elements combined. So I think that gives it that feeling that you're talking about, that sort of kind of feminine feel to it, even though they're very strong, maybe in the geometric lines. So I think that so I've been told anyway. This is from clients that they feel that even though it's bold, there's also a very feminine and soft feel to them. So I hope that I can continue to achieve that look because that's what I'm after.
This is bold.
What do you have there? That's oh, that's the
What's
link.
her?
That's the big link necklace.
Yes. Well, I
Yeah.
forget her name. I
Alicia.
forget. Is that Thea?
Alicia.
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 I was close. I was
Alicia,
close.
like Alice in Wonderland. Alicia.
Yes.
Yeah, that is bold. And that also because there is no sharp edges on it. If when you run your hand when you touch it, it's very tactile and it's very soft. And I've been told that it's actually very comfortable
It
because
is
it
very
lays really
comfortable.
flat.
It,
And
it's
then
it
you have
fits there at the neckline beautifully.
that touch what I was talking about, even though it's bold in the sense that it's not very petite, it has that little touch of diamonds that are very delicate throughout that give it that feminine feeling. And what do you have there? What are those?
Those are some gorgeous gold hoops.
I can't really see.
It's hard to see. They're the gold hoops, and I can't
Oh,
think
are
of the
they
name.
the ones? Are they the ones that come down to the point at the bottom?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
those are actually, that's probably one of the favorite earrings in my collection. They're called Celine. And what's great about that, it's the profile. It's a combination hoop. It's not big and round, but it has a really beautiful profile that comes to a point. And if you see the post, when you put where the post is positioned, it actually hides, if you have a little bit of tear on your earlobe from wearing earrings, that actually takes care of that and it dresses up the earlobe very nicely. Those are very successful. Those earrings are probably one of my best sellers.
They're
And I know
beautiful.
you've
You've
done,
done really well with them, and they are
yeah, I know you've
lightweight, so
done.
they're not pulling down on your earlobes too.
Right, yeah. I know you've done well with those.
Talk to us a little bit about the names that you've selected for all of your jewelry. Where did those names come from?
Okay, so most of the names, like I said, for about 20 years, I created pieces for my wonderful private clients. And I would say 99% of them were women. So a lot of those pieces are named after some of my favorite clients that I've had.
Do you have
Some
a
of the,
Trisha yet?
I don't have a, I don't have a, and I knew you were going to ask me that. But you know what? I'm going to create a Trisha. Oh, Trish, actually. I think I'm gonna create a Trish.
That's exactly that's what everyone tells me. Stop confusing me with your name. So yes, a Trish would be wonderful.
Okay, hold on. I think I didn't hear that because I didn't hear that because you froze. What was that?
So yeah, so tell us. I'm sorry, I interrupted you when you were talking about the names of the people of these. I mean, of your designs.
Oh yeah. So and then I love mythology. So whenever I can think of a name, or if I have already used a name, names that I'm not remembering any more of my clients' names, I often look to mythology. Any mythology. You know, it could be Greek, it could be Roman, it could be Indian. It doesn't matter. I actually try to find goddesses' names.
I love that.
Yeah.
We all want to be a goddess.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little bit of a personal history that a lot of people don't know about myself. So I'm the firstborn of 3 children. I have 2 younger sisters who are, in my eyes, gorgeous. Of course, so I'm biased, but you know. And then my mom had 10 sisters and 1 brother. So I was the firstborn out of all the children. So I grew up surrounded by a lot of women.
Makes sense.
Very strong women. My mom being right up there, one of the strongest. So I have enormous respect for women. And so my collections, all my collections will always be inspired by women. And whenever I'm making something, so for instance, that necklace that you held up, whenever I'm creating something, you know, when I'm going through the process, normally I imagine, oh my God, who is that?
That's Havana.
Savannah? Oh my God.
She actually needs one of your necklaces.
Okay, so talking about the necklace and my inspiration. So when I created that particular necklace, and whenever I create most of my pieces, I sit at my bench and I do like a very quick sketch. I don't have to do very complicated sketches because I'm the one who's gonna make it. So I just have to, you know, do a little something so that I can remember the idea. And then immediately after I have an idea, I think of at least 3 women who are completely different, in age, in, you know, how they look and everything, social style, everything. I think of those 3 women that I admire, and I think, would this piece fit on all these 3 women? And that's how I make my jewelry. So, and that's why I think it has a very broad appeal. And I'm not saying this. I've been told that a lot of my pieces kind of crossover in generation, crossover in lifestyle, crossover in looks. They cross over because I don't, even though I create, you know, a specific piece, it's not for a specific person. I try to make pieces that at least 3 women that I already know, not imaginary women that I know that have been in my life, are gonna be able to wear. And that's how something actually goes from drawing to reality.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. I wish that the clothing designers would do the same thing. It would
It's
make
a
a
little
real
different.
difference to us.
You know, a piece of jewelry is a lot easier to, you know, to wear. That's an advantage that we have. You know, a necklace can be worn just about anybody, and earrings and a bracelet. Clothing is it's a little more difficult,
It's
but
nice
yeah.
for our customers because they start collecting your pieces and they just want one more bangle. And the more the better, layering it all together. And I've found that, you know, people come back, their husbands come back, and they're excited to purchase one more something from you because it is so beautiful and the textures are so lovely. And we all love
Well, and
diamonds.
that's another thing that I try to, just as I think of at least 3 different women whenever I'm creating a piece, I always, whenever I design a piece, I always think of other designers that I admire and how is my piece going to look next to another piece from another designer.
Which
And
is
that's
so
something,
smart because they wear these little Cartier, they all have the same Cartier love bracelet.
or, you
And then they
know,
put your bracelets with it, which just make that love bracelet all the more gorgeous.
or beads, or you know, a little you know, evil eye, you know, red
Yes.
string, or so whenever. And that's something that I do myself when I love jewelry, and I admire a lot of my fellow designers, and I want to own something from them. So for instance, you know, and this is, everyone that knows me, they know that at every show that I do, every trade show, I buy something from other designers for myself, and I wear them all the time. I mix them with my charms are from all different designers. My rings
I
that
was
I wear
coming
are,
to see it. I was coming in closer to see what you were
oh,
wearing.
okay.
There we go. Oh, I love that. How
Erica
fabulous.
Molinari, to name a few. And then I have Lean Veeb, and then I have that's, I can really see, but that's probably another Erica. And then I have, I mean, I have a ton of, this is something that I picked up in Tucson, you know, the big Tucson show that I go to every year
Yes.
to pick up.
Yes.
And this is a collection of tanzanites that I did. And this was actually speaking of my dad, this was his wedding band that he made. And when he passed away, I inherited it, and this is my most prized possession. And these are my rings. But this one right here in the middle is from a dear friend of mine, Todd Cornell. So whenever I make something, my bangles, my charms, my bands, I know you have a fabulous stack of my bands.
I was just going to show my stack since you showed yours.
Yes,
And this is my
let me
stack
see
that I
that
wear
up
every
close.
day. And it's closest to my ring finger, which makes me so happy.
Thank you, thank you.
I love it. I've got a stack of gold, rose gold. Actually, you made this stack for me, and you selected which ones I was going to have in this. Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's beautiful.
remember.
Yeah,
I
everyone
remember.
wants it. I keep saying you can get one, but not the same one. I like to have something that's unique to me.
Yes.
Yeah, it's on me all the time. I wear it every day.
Well, salud. I'm gonna keep drinking my sangria because it is Cinco de Mayo.
Thank you so
And
much, Rene.
cheers, everybody.
Cheers. I wish you the best. We'll see you soon. I hope you get back in your studio designing. I know you're designing from home as well. And I so appreciate your time.
Thank you, Trish. Thank you, everybody that joined. Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye.
Thank you so much.